Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Link for Growth TV show here in Southwest Herts. And the good news is that Tania and Neal are back. Tania's covering all the local news, and Neal has got bags and bags of sports news. Um, we have Neal will be having a review of both Watford games, plus reporting all the transfer window activity. As usual, Catherine will have news of several fundraising events for local charities, and there will be a discussion around that point as well, because that's one of the things that Chris will be talking about. And Catherine's also got the usual local restaurant review. As usual, you can contact us on Twitter at L4G Herts. And Tania, welcome back.
Hey, hello.
Council tax.
Sorry? Yes, council tax. Yeah, I got news about council tax. It's going up. How on earth could they dare? How very dare they, as my friend would say. Council tax in Hertsmere is going up. Here's some news.
Okay, and the 7,000, possibly 7,000 new jobs coming to Watford.
Yeah, I think actually this is about those 7,000 new jobs that they keep telling us about that are coming because of the big developments that are happening around about the place. But there's now a new organisation to help make sure that the young people and the skills of people in the area are going to fit those 7,000 new jobs.
Okay, and Catherine, a couple of big charity events taking place this week, and Watford Half Marathon as well.
Yes, absolutely. Watford Half Marathon. Yeah, let's hope we get some decent weather at the weekend for that. That's going to be on Sunday, I think. But yeah, lots of details about that coming later, as well as a pamper evening and a casino night. So lots of sport and entertainment going on within the charities at the moment.
Okay, that's great. Hi Neil, welcome back.
Well,
Typical games to report on.
yeah, I've got two games to report on. Interesting stuff. Hard game against Chelsea and Forest, but I'll be talking about how they went later in the show.
Okay, that sounds great. And you've also got rugby, hockey, and water polo news as well.
Yep, lots of local sport.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much. And Chris, you're going to be talking about local charity funding later on in the show, but towards the beginning, you're going to be talking about two new Link for Growth TV shows.
Yeah, I will be a bit disappointed I've been taken off the news items. Hopefully nothing to do with my performance last week. I'm a little bit...
Your performance in the show last week, Chris.
anyhow, yeah, I'll be talking about some national TV shows that are coming up, going live. It's very exciting, the TV stuff this year. Like many others, I'm very excited about it. So I've got a couple of shows to report on that are coming up very shortly.
Okay, that sounds absolutely fab. And as usual, we've had quite a few Link for Growth events happening in the past week. We had 5 of them, in fact. Last Saturday, Chris was at Barracuda, as usual, between 10 and 11:30, where he met a few people to talk about Link for Growth and what it does, and Community Kickstarter Initiative. Well, Monday evening, Chris and everyone else had the chance to try the lemon drizzle cake at the kitchen for a Link for Coffee event. And Chris, you then stayed on and did the Link for Growth Mingle, a nationwide Twitter interactive conversation with anyone who's a member or indeed interested in Link for Growth, I understand.
You understand very correctly. I was down there enjoying a very, very tasty lemon drizzle cake with copious quantities of latte, and then stayed on afterwards for the L4G mingle, which is, as you say, it's a hashtag we use to bring everybody together on Twitter once a month on the first Monday evening of the month, 7:30 till 9:30. Quite good fun, loads of people coming in, and all of them sort of touching base right across the country. It's a little bit like networking online through Twitter. It needs a little, but you got to get yourself under the table a little bit and get your feet under the table to kind of work out what's going on. But once you get the hang of it, it's all good fun.
Okay, that's good. And on Wednesday morning, we had a Link for Coffee at Regis in Watford on Clarendon Road, and again, it was quite a good attendance with lots of interesting conversations taking place. And then on Thursday, Perk Coffee Shop in Carpenter's Park hosted a coffee morning for us, and earlier today at Scotsbridge Mill, there was a Link for Growth's corporate social responsibility lunch, where businesses get the opportunity to meet local charities and see how they can help each other, and other charities can help each other out. And there'll be a little bit more about that later on in the show as well. Chris, next week sees the launch of 2 new Link for Growth TV shows. One's on network marketing and the other one's on health, I understand.
It is indeed. So these are complementing the existing one that you put together, Your Good Self, the marketing gem, which is under the business channel. But on Monday we start a network marketing show, and this is the reason for this is that actually network marketing and people actually discussing products and services within a community is definitely going to be on the increase as more and more people get out of the rat race and want to pursue a more idyllic lifestyle for themselves. And the network marketing as a business model is much maligned and much misunderstood. And the idea of this show is to, if you like, cover all aspects, all different organisations and companies, and sort of give people a much a fairer assessment of it without overselling it, without trying to say you can earn millions of pounds with 2 minutes before 7 o'clock in the morning activity levels. Yeah, it's all a lot of hype going on. So this is about giving people the opportunity to look at it without feeling like they need to be sold to.
Okay, and the health show is starting next week as well, I believe.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this as well. As you know, I'm interested in health, and this is going to cover all aspects of health, mental health to nutrition and stuff like that. I believe Tania's on this one next week in some capacity or other. I don't know quite what that capacity is, but she's going to be on the show. So one of our own is starring in the show next Tuesday. So the the network marketing show is 4 till 5 on Monday, and on Tuesday, 10 a.m. the health and wellness show kicks off with Carol Wildgoose, who's a nutritionist, and I think she's a vegetarian or vegan, but knows her raw food as well, and Emma James, who's actually very involved with adult mental health and been in the health service and gone through a few traumas of her own. So I think that's going to be a really interesting show. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, and can you just repeat those times again, please, for everyone?
Yep, on who's that? Christopher, did you say? On Monday between 4 and 5 is the network marketing show, and between 10 and 11 will be the health and wellness show on Tuesday. Okay,
that sounds great. Thanks very much, Chris. Tania, we've talked about how Watford Borough Council have not increased their council tax demand for the next financial year, but Hertsmere residents haven't been so lucky.
That's right. Hertsmere is proposing to increase its share of the council tax bills by 1.95% for the coming year. So that's the first increase, they say, for 7 years. And it's 1.95% of their share of the council tax bill. So the council tax, I mean, they're the people who collect council tax on behalf of all the local services. So the council tax that we pay, the council actually get, or Hertsmere Council actually get 11% of. So their 11% is going to go up by 1.95%. Hertfordshire County Council, the county council, gets 77% off. The Police and Crime Commissioner gets 10% off. And if you live in an area with a parish or a town council, like, for example, Oldham Parish Council or Elstree and Boreham Wood Town Council, etc., they get 2%. I read that and I thought, I wonder what happens to that 2% if you haven't got a town council. I wonder where it goes then.
It goes to the town council.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It goes to the district council.
The district council, yes.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. They get an extra 2%. So the Hertsmere part of what you pay in council tax is going up by 1.95%.
Okay. And sticking with Hertsmere, the Heritage Lottery Fund is offering support for a project out that way in to do with the studios.
That's right. There's the Studio Way. Oh, my page has just not come back up. Studio Way has got Heritage Lottery Fund support. And Studio Way, from what I was looking at earlier, my page has gone blank, is an area of woodland, I think. I didn't know about it, but they've got all of this extra money, which I can't tell you about now because my page is gone, my page is broken,
Oh dear.
that they're going to use to create a new way of getting into that area. Am I right? Is that what you told me? Is that what I was looking at?
That sounds like what I asked you to look up and research on, and it sounds as if you did your research, so well done.
It was to do with creating new routes for this area and actually helping to put the people. We're going to give walks through the area so that people became more aware of the history in the area and became more involved in it. So it sounded good to me.
Okay, that's great. And the people in Hertsmere Council are also encouraging you to register to vote. Now, Watford did a little while ago, and Three Rivers did it a little while ago, and now it's Hertsmere's turn.
Yes. What I particularly liked about this story is I found a tweet from Hertsmere Borough Council. So this is, if you're on Twitter, at Hertsmere BC, and their tweet, which I thought, oh, that looks intriguing, was improve your credit, take charge of your identity, and play a direct role in social justice in just 3 minutes. Hashtag take power. And it led you to a page, and that page was about registering to vote. And I thought, what a fantastic tweet, because that's what voting is all about. It does help you to improve your credit, it does help you to take charge of your identity, and play a direct role in social justice, and it doesn't take very long. So you can only vote if your name is on the register. The next elections in Hertsmere, the Police and Crime Commissioner, is to be held on the 5th of May. So if you want to have your say in Hertsmere about the Police and Crime Commissioner, or who it might be, who you think might best fill that role, then get yourself registered if you're not already.
Okay. Thank you. Now, there is the possibility that there's going to be 7,000 new jobs here in Watford.
There is. And making the community that we live in able to support and fill those 7,000 new jobs is a new role for skill makers. A new organisation, a membership organisation led by local businesses, community groups and education providers who will help local employers work with the schools and colleges with careers advice and developing qualifications and curriculums to fit those new business requirements. So we know that we've got the new development of Charter Place, we know we've got other new developments over in the hospital and all of that area. We know we've got all these new developments going on. Skillmakers has been funded by its members, will pay an annual fee depending on the size of their organisation to make sure that the people in the area are best placed to take best advantage of those 7,000 new jobs. They're just going to have 3 members of staff, a manager and 2 coordinators, all employed on a full-time basis, and they're going to work with schools, colleges and others to make sure that this is all coming together so that we make the best life chances for everyone in the town, giving them employment and learning opportunities. There's Lisa Clarke, Freedom Communications.
Okay. Now, a piece appeared in the Watford Observer saying that crime increased in your area. Figures reveal crime has gone up in Watford, Rickmansworth and Bushey. But actually, I mean, just to read the headline, it sounds quite bad news. But it's not all bad news by any means, is it?
It's not. You're absolutely right. I saw this headline and I thought, and I'm sure most people will, they'll think, oh goodness, really? Crime's gone up? And then it starts talking about how much it's gone up and everything. That there's pages of it, and then there's one paragraph at the end, 2 lines, that says, however, when officially compared with the most similar group of 8 forces, so places where people and community is most similar to this area in Hertfordshire, Hertfordshire's level of crime remained the lowest at 52.5 crimes per 1,000 members of the population. That's 0.05% of the population is affected by any crime whatever, in comparison to the national rate is 58. So it's 52.5 as opposed to 58.6. And when you look at how much they've gone up, it really is, for most places, not that much at all. And for many places, there's a big list here. One of the worst that one of the most troubling, let's say, that I picked up was Kings Langley, which seems to have a bit of a streak. But they're talking about 119. Oh no, am I doing this right? No, actually, they're going in the opposite direction. They're going down massively, massively. They've gone down to 119 crimes in the whole of Kings Langley, as compared to the year previous when it was 182. So that's really good news. There are places like Croxley Green South, where it's gone up from to 103 from 78. But really and truly, this is mostly good news. In our area, we really don't need to be too worried about crime. Yes, it would be nice to get it down, but it's not a big issue for many of us.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, I remember the Chief Constable of Hertfordshire giving a talk, and basically he was saying, like a lot of these things, they seem to follow Pareto's 80-20 rule with, 80% of the crime committed by 20% of the criminals, sort of thing. And if you could deal with those people when they were off the streets in prison, they did notice local drops and stuff like that. So obviously that still seems to apply from these figures.
That might well do. If only we were dealing or helping these people to take control of their lives in a different way when they're in prison. But that's a whole different story.
Yes, it is. Talking of doing wild things, if you're under 10, you can go wild in Whippendale Woods.
I have to say, Darren, I love this idea. There's a Walk on the Wild side happening in Whippendale Woods. And it looks just absolutely great fun. On Thursday, the 18th of February, between 1 and 4 p.m, as you say, under 10s can be there, taking inspiration from creatures that live in the woods. Local children are invited to paint fabric banners, which will be hung from some beautiful timber and steel sculptures that an artist called Alex Baranovsky will be putting in the woods for this occasion. The completed sculptures will be left in the woods for a few weeks, I'm sure, to the delight and surprise of many visitors, because I bet this is going to look absolutely brilliant. There are other places that I've seen sculptures in the woods, and they just make the places come alive. So there's a gazebo there just behind Grove Mill Lane car park, WD17 3TX, and parents will need to stay with their children. Sounds like a fun thing to do for me, but there'll be hot chocolate made on the campfire, served with biscuits to keep the chills at bay, and they're going to be painting fabric banners. So don't go in new clothes, go in old clothes that it doesn't matter whether you're going to get mucky or not. And in fact, it doesn't matter whether the paint's going to wash out or not, because apparently some of the paints don't wash out. Remember, you're painting fabric banners, so it's got to be paint that stays on the banners.
Yeah, and you're painting outside.
Yes, and you're painting outside, so it's probably not going to wash out. So wear really old clothes and just enjoy. It sounds like great fun. Children over 6 are invited to come along in the morning between 11 and 1, wearing warm clothes and sensible parks for a mini beast hunt in Casterbury Park on the Wednesday. So Wednesday you've got the mini beast hunt for children over 6, and on Thursday you've got this sculpture and painting event with Alex's delightful creations between 1 and 4.
Okay, that's great. Moving on, we're going to be talking about transport for the next couple of items. Very briefly, Sutton Car Park is still closed this weekend due to refurbishment.
Yeah, still closed, and the others are all still open. All the work should be finished by the end of Feb, and the stuff that they're doing, they think will improve our lives magnificently in the way that we pay for our car parking. So just don't try and get into Sutton at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they needed tidying up and sprucing up. I think City Park do deserve some credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, let's face it. If you can walk into town,
Well,
if you're close enough, if you have the capacity, give yourself a bit of a health boost and walk into town, because it'll do you much better and it'll save you the nightmare of trying to find a car parking space.
Now, we talked a little bit about this during the Link for Growth conference on the show we did from Missenden Abbey, because that was the day the announcement was made about how there's going to be a petition to cut 5 funders, Herts County Council support for 5 bus routes that are run by Transport for London. So that includes things like the 258, which goes from Watford Junction into Brent Cross. And there's now a petition going trying to get these bus routes saved.
Yes, and so far apparently nearly 2,000 people have signed the petition on the Watford Labour Party website. So this is really gathering force. It's clearly quite a popular route. There's a number of routes. It's used by lots of elderly people and lots of students going to school. So there's lots and lots of support for this. There's a letter to Boris Johnson to put pressure on his Conservative colleagues at County Hall, and there's significant anxiety about. There has been a letter also from Central Ward Labour councillor Mike Healy, who says Hertfordshire Conservatives are recklessly cutting services regardless of the consequences. They've written to the Observer. The threat is causing significant anxiety. Unless TfL foot the bill for services outside their area, these bus routes will be lost and stop at the London boundary. So there you go.
Right. Okay, that's really good. And because Transport for London are also saying keep these routes open, haven't they?
That's right. They are. TfL are saying keep them open, but they're only going to keep them open if they get the funding from Herts County Council. So if Herts County Council go through with the cuts, which is a very small part of this, the funding for these buses, I think it's a subsidy of 390,000 supporting these bus routes. And an annual budget of 11.3 million. So it's a very, very small part of what it takes to keep these services open, but Herts County Council are saying that they're going to take it away. If that happens, the routes will close, according to TfL.
Right. Well, thanks very much for that, Tania. Normally we'd have the sports now after Tania has taken us through all the local news in her unique style and energetic style, which is great. But this week we're going to go straight to the charity news. But before we do, Chris, are you there? Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Good.
Before we talk about the charity events that are happening and everything, as I said earlier, today was the CSI lunch down at Scottsbridge Mill, and there was quite a good turnout this time with about 14 people there. But one of the kind of hot topics, I wasn't there, but I understand, was the funding of local charities and how it's struggling to find funds.
Yeah, well, as you're probably aware, it's not just here in South West Herts or Watford that funding's being cut. Essentially, the plan was always to move funding for these charities out into the private sector and get people to pick up the cudgels. But the problem is that charities have been for the last N years just so used to sort of turning up with a pot and saying, "Here you go, fill my pot up, and we'll go again for another year." The promise of cutting the support has been delivered, i.e., they have cut them. Some of the charities have already gone by the wayside, and others are finding it increasingly difficult to continue to operate. The private sector, the community element in terms of picking up these services has not happened. It's not happened because there was never a mechanism to make it happen until now, of course, with Link for Growth and what we're doing. But that's coming a little bit late for some people, unfortunately. But so we had some people there today who were expressing that actually there are a large number of charities that are in Watford that are being looked after by the voluntary sector, but in reality the job is far too big for the voluntary sector. The amount of funding they get is just insufficient. So the best that they can offer really is putting the charities in a register so that the voluntary sector organisation can say we're looking after N charities and therefore get allocated a pot of money. But then what happens to that pot of money? It's not filtering through to some of the charities that are in desperate need for it. Now, who would have decided which charities are eligible and which ones aren't? Who knows? But basically the system isn't working. That's the bottom line, and charities who are doing great work out there are not being supported, and they are going to the wall in their droves. This is a massively big problem because the need isn't going away, but the capability to provide the need is, and really that's quite alarming, and we need to get on it fast. And there's no other organisation that's going to do it because it's too big a job. Basically, we've got to do it, the people. So it was a bit of a wake-up call, really. So I'm going to spend some time with a charity that came along today, try and get to understand a bit more about the mechanics of what's going wrong, and then we've got to identify the other ones in Watford, Southwest Herts, that are suffering in a similar way, and start to work out how we can engage the community. They don't need money. What they really need is more people to know they're there and more people to get involved with what they're doing and lighten the load. And that would mean that many of these charities would be able to stand this period of transition and get themselves on a more sustainable model, which is what they need to do.
Yes, I mean, I know from my own experience and my own network within the local charities, because, as you know, I'm quite well connected in that area. You know, they've all undergone similar issues, and for some of them it has been quite traumatic. I mean, we've featured Home Start here, which is not a charity I'm associated with, but you know, they lost all of their council funding in one go, sort of thing, and I think that came as a real surprise to them. Other charities, it's been drawn down over the last 4 or 5 years. So I think it is different for each one. Sometimes the money is reallocated and it's there and you've just got to find it. And other times, as you say, and other times it is literally the money has gone, and it's really difficult. And you know, the charities need to be a bit cuter as to how they promote themselves. Let's put it that way.
The problem is, though, is that these people, you know, they've kind of just gone along with the way it is for many, many years. They're not in a position to just suddenly be cuter at finding money. They're just not. They just don't have. There's no. It's not like, right, here's your money. The money's gone. Here's a training package to learn how you might be able to go out there and replace it in some way. So they're just left high and dry. It's no money and no support, basically, and almost like clock watching to see how long they're going to last before they disappear. So there's a real need out there, and it's something we've got to get on pretty sharpish. So I just wanted to bring it up in the show that there are 500 or so independent charities in Watford, and the vast majority of them will be suffering, and we've got to get out there and find them.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and it wasn't me being flippant by saying cuter. It is the reality, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, let's do our little bit, Catherine, for raise the profile of charities that we can, but we'll do that a little bit later. But first of all, it's Watford Half Marathon this Sunday.
Yes, that's right. Let's hope it stops raining by then. It could be a very soggy affair otherwise. Yeah, the Watford Half Marathon, Sunday 4th of Feb. I believe it starts at 10:30 in the morning. Obviously, people have already registered. They will have received their race packs now, so they know exactly what they're doing. What they need is lots of support on the day. People can go along and cheer them on, and particularly those that are running for charities, raising money for charities in a fabulous way, need all our support. So go along Casbury Park Sunday from 10:30 in the morning, probably a little bit earlier if you want a decent spot and you can see people coming and going, especially at the beginning and the end of the race. Go along and support our runners.
Okay, that's great. And there's a jumble sale at All Saints in Croxley Green.
There is oh yeah, I was just going to mention very quickly. There was a note on the Watford Half Marathon site about possible tube strike this weekend and how that might affect people getting to the race. Actually, the strike's been called off, so there is no tube strike this weekend. So hurrah! That's nice. Yes, moving on to jumble sale. At All Saints Church in Croxley Green. This is on Saturday the 6th of Feb, starting at 2. Everybody's welcome. A mere 30p to get in, and you can have a good rumble through all the jumble and tumble of clothes and books and videos and everything that's always at a jumble sale. I'm sure there's refreshments there as well. Always a tea and coffee waiting. So get along to that one.
Okay, and Watford and Bushy Art Society are meeting this Tuesday instead of the first Tuesday this month.
Yes, Tuesday, 9th of Feb, 7:30, and this is a meeting at Tenet Hall, which is in the Watford Grammar School for Girls building in Ladies Close in Watford. The speaker is Anthony Slynn, is that? Slynn?
Yeah, S-L-I-N-N, Slynn.
Yes, it's a bit tricky to read on my bit of paper. Anyway, he's talking about Masters of the 20th Century. So that sounds a fascinating talk. If you fancy that, go along on Tuesday the 9th of Feb, 7:30, Tenet Hall at the Girls' Grammar School.
Okay, and then on to some charity stuff. The Michael Sobel Centre, Michael Sobel Hospice, rather, sorry, have an indulgence evening this week, and there's still some tickets available.
Yeah, this sounds like fun. It's £16 entry, and that includes a free glass of bubbly and a free taste of therapy and a goodie bag. Taste of therapies include a mini makeover, massage, a foot spa, reflexology, Indian head massage, hairdressing, House of Colour talk. That's always a useful one as well. A great Valentine's gift to yourself or your loved ones. Obviously, there's things on sale there as well. Go along to... this is on Wednesday the 10th of February, 7 till 10 in the evening, and it's at the London School of Theology in Green Lane in Northwood. So that sounds like a fabulous thing to get along to. Go and indulge.
How are you, Jamie?
And Neal, can you mute yourself for a moment, please? And you can also win Wimbledon raffle tickets.
Yeah, this is a great prize. Again, for the Michael Sobel Hospice, they're offering a raffle for 2 premier tickets for Wimbledon on Tuesday, the 28th of June. This is on the number 1 court with parking. Buy your tickets, £5 a raffle ticket. You can get them from the Michael Sobel Hospice fundraising office, or you can phone 0203 826 2367. £5 a ticket. They're making the draw on Thursday the 9th of June, and obviously this is for tickets for number 1 court for Tuesday the 28th of June. Fabulous prize.
Yeah. Now the Peace Hospice seems to be sort of going off in a musical bent at the moment, starting with a 25th anniversary Peace Classics concert.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Peace Hospice have got loads of things going on at the moment, not surprisingly, because it's their 25th anniversary year. This particular event is on Thursday, the 18th of February. It's going to be at Clarendon Mews, 70 Rickmansworth Road, Watford, and it's a concert from the renowned Royal College of Music Junior Department. So we're welcoming the Chamber Orchestra, conducted by Chris Hirons, and the Chamber Choir, conducted by Joy Hill. 18th of February, 7 o'clock. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, 7 o'clock. Your tickets include drinks, reception, and canapes. And the tickets are £25 for an adult, £15 concession, which is under 16, over 65s. Book your tickets online, either through the Peace Hospice website, or I'll post the link up later. The canapé selection looks wonderful, by the way. There's just a little slice. There's salmon en croûte with spinach, rocket and ricotta tortillas. They look fabulous. So yeah, support the local Peace Hospice and enjoy a concert.
Okay, and if you live in Chorleywood and Rickmansworth, the Peace Hospice have a band night coming up.
Yes, absolutely. This sounds like something that's gone on before. They've done 5 years of these band nights, obviously very successful, really well supported. It includes live music with 3 fantastic local bands, and you can join in for food, drinks, raffle, etc., all for just £15. This is on Saturday the 6th of February, so that's tomorrow, £15. It's being held at the Chorleywood Memorial Hall, which is Common Road, Chorleywood, Rickmansworth. Come along for what is sure to be a night to remember. All profits go to the Peace Hospice, of course.
Okay, and if you're old enough to remember the 60s and 70s, what's the saying? If you're there and you remember the 60s, you weren't there. Something like that.
Yeah, like that. If you remember it, you weren't there. 60s, 70s. I'm waiting for the 80s theme one, because obviously that's my era, but 60s and 70s theme music night sounds fabulous. This is at the Three Hammers, which is in Mill Hill, the Ridgeway. This is going to be on Saturday the 20th of February, so you've still got time to book this in the diary, get some tickets. The event's having a live band, playing 60s and 70s favourites all night long. Maybe even you could throw in some requests, who knows. This is hosted by the group I Grew Up at Golders Green Station. Bit of an odd name, I'm sure there's a story to that as well. Again, all proceeds to Peace Hospice Care. Tickets are available online. Again, I'll post the link up after the show. Fabulous night, something a little bit different as well.
Okay, that sounds great. Slightly different, and definitely perhaps, well, I was going to say definitely more tasty, but perhaps more tasty depending on your taste. And the Peace Hospice are having an Indian sizzler evening.
And I believe I've reviewed this restaurant already, so I can recommend it, actually. This is at the Indian Sizzler. Come and enjoy some great Indian food, backed by popular demand. They're going to serve you, but it's a buffet, but they'll serve you at the table that sees as much food as you can eat on Tuesday the 9th of February at 7:30. This is the Indian Sizzler. It's on the corner of Long Spring and St Albans Road, literally just up the road from me. There's a raffle on the evening as well, and all the money from the raffle is going to Peace Hospice Care. Tickets for the event are £20 per person, and drinks you buy individually purchased at the bar. You can book it in advance by calling Hillary on 07956 915 058. That's at the Indian Sizzler on Tuesday the 9th of February.
Okay, and if you want to do something completely different and probably just as daring, you can go skydiving with the Hospice of St Francis.
I would recommend not doing this straight after an Indian buffet. Perhaps give it a couple of hours, you know, to let it go down. On the 20th of March, Sunday the 20th of March, at Hinton Airfield in Brackley. They're looking for daredevils to fall for us by taking a sponsored tandem skydive. This is raising money for the Hospice of St Francis. Is this something you could do? Is this something you could get involved in? There's a minimum sponsorship amount of £400, but from that they will then pay the cost of £200 for your tandem skydive. There's a non-refundable deposit of £50 payable on registration, which is included in the minimum sponsorship. So all details from the St Francis website. Again, I'll post the link up, but that's something a little bit different. Yeah, take a deep breath and skydive for the hospice.
Okay, that sounds great. Before you skydive, though, you might want to make sure that the air ambulance can actually come along and pick you up just in case anything does go wrong.
It's good to know that they're there. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to raise some money for the Herts Air Ambulance, which is a fabulous organisation, I know someone who's used them as well, and they were very thankful for them being around. Yeah, Heart of Hearts Casino Night on Friday, the 12th of February. This is at the Fairway Tavern in Welwyn Garden City. The night kicks off with a reception at 7, followed by a 2-course dinner and disco. Plus, there's the opportunity to purchase fun money at the funky casinos tables and win some fabulous prizes. There's at the bar, disco, heads and tails, roulette ball games, auction, and a raffle there as well, of course. You can show your interest on their Facebook events page. That's the Herts Air Ambulance Facebook page, or go to their website. You'll get all the details, and you'll be able to purchase tickets through there as well. There's some great prizes for their raffle. They've got a 40-inch plasma TV donated kindly by Cordell Maintenance, Simon Cox. They've got hampers, they've got treatment sessions. There's some fabulous things to win there. So that's on Friday the 12th of Feb.
Okay, that sounds great. And a little bit further off, Watford Women's Centre, we've got something happening with Yellow Comedy.
Yeah, something happening, a full evening of entertainment by the sound of it. Now, bearing in mind this is raising money for Watford Women's Centre, this is a night of female comedians. I think there's 8 of them altogether, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Eureka. Sorry?
There are 7 comedians.
Oh, there's 8 in the picture. The middle one's Andrew, isn't it? That's right. He's not going to thank me for that, I'm sure. The evening is emceed by Andrew Carberry from Yellow Comedy. All the acts are supported by Yellow Comedy, up-and-coming stand-up comedians, including Sandra Hale, who of course is Yellow Comedy Queen of Hearts 2015. The other comedians are Eureka Cotoni, Sean Doherty, Sandra Hale, I've just mentioned, Kate Jones, Claire Nelson, Fiona Ridgewell, Natasha Smith, and as I mentioned, Andrew Carberry emceeing. This is on Tuesday, the 8th of March 2016, from 7:30 till 11 in the evening, and it's being held at Attico Arts Centre, which is the lower end of Watford High Street. Not Lower High Street, but the lower end of of Watford High Street, as was pointed out to me today. So yeah, fabulous evening. Get along to that one.
Yeah, tickets are £6 if you buy them from the shop, or £7.50 if you buy them online or on the door at the night. And of course, Yuri Attico is BBC Radio Young Comedian of 2015. So, yeah, you and I have both seen her. She's a real talent.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, brilliant stuff. I'm going to mention very quickly a big thanks to Yellow Comedy for their charity comedy night last Friday evening at Watford Museum. Firstly, a fabulous show. Secondly, fabulous venue. First one that they've held there, first one that I've been to there, certainly. What a lovely venue, lovely people there as well. Very, very friendly, very helpful. But yeah, thanks again to Andrew, thanks to Michael as well, who emceed for the evening. Yeah, brilliant evening, and altogether with people's very generous donations and the raffle, we raised £261. So thanks everybody.
That's really good. No, any other Michael Green stuff?
We're looking for some runners for our 10K, British 10K, which is going to be held in July. I'm currently in negotiations with a very loyal contact at Watford Hospital, who might be getting us a team together from there. So yes, I'll keep you posted.
Okay, that's fabulous. And because you've got to go sort of like fairly urgently, I'm going to ask you to go straight into the restaurant review, please.
Absolutely, yeah, don't mind that at all. It is kind of a restaurant. It's more a takeaway than a restaurant, to be honest. I used them for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I was so impressed, and I read other reviews about them as well, and everybody seems quite impressed by them. So I thought I'd give a little plug to the Golden Crown. This is a Chinese restaurant in St Albans Road in Watford, and they were just fabulous. Ordered through Just Eat, so they're on the main delivery websites, but the food arrived. Normally they say, oh, it'll come in about an hour. Actually, it was with me in 25 minutes, and I told the chap who came to the door, hour. Actually, that's really nice. You never expect anything to be early these days, but it was. And it was hot and it was tasty. The menu, it's an extensive menu. Anything that you fancy, it's probably on the menu. They cater for vegetarians. There's lots of vegetarian dishes, very reasonably priced. The portions when they came, they were good portions, and I think probably the most reasonably priced of all the Chineses that I've used recently. They're open Monday to Sunday, 11:30 in the morning till 11 in the evening. Yeah, Golden Crowns, Norman's Road, love them.
Okay, well, thanks for that, and I know you've got to disappear, so enjoy your weekend.
Thank
And Neal, sorry to have kept you waiting,
No problem.
but it's been an awfully busy week at Watford, hasn't it? What with 2 games, a whole lot of transfers, and of course a big game coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's an incredibly busy week. I guess place to start would be the last week's FA Cup game against Nottingham Forest.
Sounds like late. Now, Andrew predicted a 1-0 win, and I think he got it right.
He did. He predicted it right. Yeah, it was a very tight game. Watford made 7 changes. They only had 4 people from the week before. And it wasn't a great game to watch, but Igalo, the man, come on at the end, and with 2 minutes to go, broke Nottingham Forest Hearts, which is really important because the last thing Watford need is a replay because of what they're trying to do in the Premier League.
Yeah. So Forest manager was saying they should have at least got a replay. Is that the general consensus, or is that just the opposition managers sour grapes?
They had one golden opportunity to score, and they should have scored. And I don't think you'd heard too many people complaining if it was a draw. But that's how football goes.
Yes, well, it's happened the other way against Watford as well this season. I know you've talked about it, and we'll be referring back to it a bit later on. Okay, so that was Saturday, and who have they got in the next round of the Cup?
So with Leeds at home, so in the weekend of the 16th of February, Leeds at home, which is a great draw for Watford. Again, it'll be a tight game. They always are. You shouldn't just presume because you're the Premier League side you're going to walk all over these teams, but it's a real opportunity for Watford to get into the quarterfinals of the Cups, and anything can happen from there. So everyone's starting to get a little bit excited.
Oh, good. And on Wednesday night, Watford played Chelsea, and it was a 0-0 draw, but it wasn't a dull 0-0 draw from what I've read.
No, it's a really enjoyable game actually. And in the first half, Watford certainly had the better of the play, and they played some really impressive one-touch football and had a couple of really good chances and should have gone in at half-time at 1-0. But unfortunately, we didn't get the goal, and in the second half, it was a lot tighter. And towards the end of the game, Watford seemed to tire, and Chelsea made a couple of good substitutions and were putting real pressure on. They had 2 really, really good late efforts, and our hero goalkeeper Gomez did the business yet again. 2 outstanding saves. He seems to do it week after week, and so at the end of the day, draw was a fair result. I think both sets of fans would agree with that.
Yeah, and I gather there was an incident between Paredes and Costa, the Chelsea forward, who has a bit of a reputation, I gather.
Yeah, Costa, in some local term, would be known as a bit of a nose monkey. He there's only a very few Watford people will even know what that means, but he likes to wind people up. He was the whole time niggling at people. He likes to try to get people off their game by winding them up, and it was working. But the incident in question, Paredes had a little shove on him, and Costa then sort of pushed him in the back of the head. Then we had the unedifying sight of Paredes rolling around on the floor, acting. Watford players quickly went over and dragged him up and told him to sort himself out, and there was a big lot of pushing and shoving. It was handbags. It was nothing. They both got booked. That was fine, but it raised the atmosphere in the ground. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I gather Troy Deeney described it as what you call handbags on a Sunday lunch, Sunday football league. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's gaining a bit of a reputation now. We're in the Premier League, and people are starting to see him on Match of the Day. But we knew that what he's like. He's honest, and he didn't mince his words on national television, having a go at his own player for rolling around like that, which is great to see. Yeah, he said you'd be embarrassed if it happened on Sunday League football, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans thought it was really refreshing to hear a player say that about their teammates. Whereas on the other side, Gus Hiddink was trying to play it up that it was all Watford's fault. So he was playing the typical manager. His team can't possibly do anything wrong. It has to be the opposition.
Yeah.
So Watford come out as a good on the right side yet again.
Good. Deanie's been saying the crowd have been really good for Watford this season.
Yeah, it's since we've had the fourth stand, and the 1881 club have really upped their game with the flags, with the ticker tape parade type things. The atmosphere has been amazing. I've never really experienced anything like it before. Chanting through the whole game, and it's definitely helping the team. Most home games they get off to a start. We haven't really had a bad game at home. Even the ones we've lost, they were very close or unlucky. Yeah, they're definitely like the 12th man for the team at the moment.
Okay. What is the 1881 club?
So Watford FC were formed in 1881. So it was a few years ago when we were in the Championship. It was some supporters got together and said, how can we help the team by creating a better atmosphere at the club? So they were specifically formed to create a better atmosphere at the club. The club bought into it and gave them their own area in the ground, so anyone who wanted to get involved in the chanting and that could all sit in one place to make a better atmosphere. Took a while to get going, but last season and this season, it's really paid dividends.
Okay, that's great. Now, transfer news and squad news. There's been quite a lot of it this week. Finally, Watford completed the signing of Suarez from Fiorentina.
Yeah, it seemed to go on forever, this one. I think we've been waiting about 2 weeks for it. But the whole time the club said the deal was pretty much in the bag. We're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And yep, he came, and he actually made his debut for the last few minutes against Chelsea. So didn't get a chance to see a lot of him, but he looks like a quality player. And I think it's sorely needed, to tell the truth, because in the centre midfield, we do tire just because of the type of football we're playing, and to have a third really good quality midfielder to come in is really going to help the squad.
Okay, that's great. And they also signed 2 other players who we're not going to see this season.
Yes, so we signed a talented player, Decor, from Rennes. He has gone out on loan to Granada. There are reports that he's a record signing. I've also read not to believe that. It's paper talk, but even so, it's a big signing for us. There were other teams chasing him, and the fact that we're pretty much safe in the Premier League and pushing towards the top half of the table is persuaded him. And another young lad who some people are referring to as the new Lionel Messi. I'm not sure if that's the case, because that's sort of like once or twice in a generation. So let's hope they're true. Difficult name, and I haven't heard any pronouncers say it yet. But I'm gonna go for Panareda. But we bought him off the club and we've loaned him straight back to them, and they will both be joining us pre-season, so they can start to learn how Sanchez Flores wants them to play.
The club being Granada?
Decor's gone to Granada, and you're just trying to make a mistake, aren't you? And Araneda has La so that's a different Spanish team.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. Now, the reason why all this is quite interesting is that there's been a lot of talk about how Watford conduct all their transfer activities and that sort of thing. There was reported today that Watford were revealed as Europe's biggest spenders. I mean, it first appeared in the Mail and the Mirror, but we tracked down the source, and the source seems to be fairly confident that that is the case.
Yeah, and I've heard it's a reliable website. Kevin said on WD Sport that it's a reliable website. I doubt if it is as much as they say, because these deals they tend to have sort of like big big appearance fees and that. So that's probably the maximum they could reach if the players play enough and like get internationals and stuff like that. So the initial outlay probably won't be anywhere near that figure quoted of £33 million. But it just shows you how far we've come, that we can attract these sort of players and spend this sort of money. The Daily Mail reported it that Watford, in their bid to stay up, which is a bit mischievous reporting, because they know full well this is actually building for next season. It has nothing to do with this season, in fact. We're ahead of schedule as the project, so yeah, we've bought some excellent players, and they're for next season, not this season.
But several other pundits keep sort of talking about Watford, I've noticed, as if Watford are going to go down. I mean, unless something drastically goes wrong, they're not mathematically safe at the moment, but it's not going to happen, is it?
I would like to say impossible, but I guess nothing's impossible until the maths work themselves out. But no team has ever gone down with this amount of points. We are playing so well. We're going to pick up a ton of points between now and the end of the season. We've just strengthened the squad with a couple of good players. Yeah, we're going to be in the top half of the table for sure.
Okay, which is where you predicted at the beginning of the season, if I remember right.
Yes, I did, and as Kevin said, I should put some money on it.
We'll just keep on a little bit about transfers, because it'll be the kind of go quiet now. But there's already talk about Watford sort of bringing a whole new raft of players again in the summer, and the Watford midfielder Ben Watson says that Watford have got to keep improving the squad during every transfer window, and that puts everyone under a lot of pressure, but it also hopefully improves the quality of the whole team and of the whole squad. Now, is that something that needs to be done, or is it perhaps speaking to aspirations of, well, let's go and play in Europe?
Well, yeah, this just shows the owner's aspirations. We've got a great squad now, but with the signings we've managed to get, and these are players that are being chased by other big clubs in Europe, we've now got 5 months to actually work at finding the players we want. So it's not as if we're going to go into the closed season and be chasing other players. We're going to be working with their agents to find the players we want and get them in early in the transfer window, so therefore they can start training with the squad early. Last year's signings were all very late, and that's shown that they were not panicked, but they weren't players who've been able to integrate into the squad, and they haven't made the matchday squad. So we're ahead of schedule. So basically, I think Ben Watson's right. We do need to build, and his place is going to be one of the ones that's in danger. So he's got to just up his work rate and up his game. He knows that. But yeah, so it just shows they're not satisfied with just being a Premier League team. They want to chase the European places.
Luke Dowling was speaking on Radio 5 during the week, talking about how Watford's transfer strategy works. I don't know if you heard the report. I didn't, but I've read a report of it. I didn't actually hear the interview. Apparently, it gave quite a lot of insight about the way that Watford do things in the transfer market.
Yeah, and I must admit I don't know a lot about this, but I missed the research on this a little bit. But I know, yeah, they do a lot of getting around. They know a lot of people. They go out into find the youngsters who are talented, who are going to be for the long-term project. So they make sure that they convince people that they're in there for the project. They're not talking to them about you're going to be in the first team straight away. You're going to be at the club for 4.5 years. They show them the examples of the players and what their potential is, because look at how much Dean is being touted for, look at how much Ogle is being touted for. So they've got these examples they can show these people, and they can give them a career progression from Watford up to being one of their best players in their country and playing for their national team. So it's a great system, and long may it continue.
Okay, and the halfway through the season, teams in the Premier League get a chance to revise their squad, don't they? And Watford made 1 or 2 changes with Joel Ekstrand, who I gather has been injured for a long time, coming back.
Yeah, he's liked by Sanchez Flores, so he's taken up the centre back position that Baldwin was holding. Baldwin didn't actually get a chance to play, but extra is great cover, and we do need it because we were down to 3 and we actually didn't have any centre back cover on the bench the other night. So extra can definitely do the job as cover.
Okay, that's great. And of course, tomorrow they're playing Spurs.
Yeah, really tough game. Really tough game. I don't think I've predicted a defeat this season, but I'm worried about tomorrow. At home, we matched them easily and were robbed with a goal that was 3 yards offside, and everyone was a bit bitter about that. But Spurs are on a hell of a run.
Sending off at the same time, wasn't there?
Sorry?
There was also sending off with, is it Ake, the left back?
Yeah, we had played a lot of the match with 10 men and still held out really well and played really well and actually had the better chances against Tottenham. But that's all out the window. The team know they played well against them. They'll go with a plan. They're planning to go for a win. Let's hope they can do it. It's probably going to be their toughest game of the season so far, I think.
Okay. And Spurs are asking for people to arrive no later than 2 o'clock for security issues.
Yeah, that's pretty standard now. Anyone who turns up near kick-off time won't get in the ground in the Premier League for the kick-off. So, yeah, make sure you get to the game early.
Okay, great. Now, the other team that we follow is Kings Langley, and they had a successful win at Ware last weekend.
Yeah, so they're up to 4th in the table, 2-1 away to Ware. So that was an expected result because Ware haven't been on a good form, but they're near those. They're in that playoff place that they wanted. Now they've got to keep there, but there's teams all around them with similar amount of points and with games in hand. So this makes tomorrow's game against Charles Font St Giles really even more important. And this is a 6-pointer, so it's a team above them. So if they lose, it's going to make their job really difficult. But if they win this one, they're really in with a shout for the playoffs, or even automatic promotion.
Yep. And that's at Kings Langley, is it, or is that at Charles Font?
Yeah, and before we go on to the rest of the news, I've just got some breaking football news. Watford ladies have just revealed they've signed Katie Rosen, who has become the new head coach at Watford ladies. So there's a change so after their poor performance last year, there's been a change at the top. So Katie Rosen, who I don't know much about, but we'll look up some information for next week's news programme.
FA Cup's on Sunday. Yeah.
That would be good.
And sorry, yes, and they've got the FA Cup tie on Sunday, which is their first competitive game of the season.
It's real.
Okay, well, I see you've got a prompter with you. You're a researcher.
Yep.
Okay, now it's not just football in this area at the moment. Rugby Union, Florence, had a good win, and it keeps them top of the league after 5 successive wins.
Yeah, another convincing win, this time against Merchant Taylor's Old Boys, and like you say, 5 on the trot, top of the league, starting to look quite secure in that position. So they've got an opportunity to go on and dominate this league this year.
Yeah, definitely. And hockey, now it's not something we normally feature, but perhaps we'll feature a little bit more. West Herts won in Cambridge to ease their relegation fears.
Yeah, 4-2 win against Cambridge City. Much needed win that's taken them out of the relegation spots. Hockey's a little bit different. They have a playoff for relegation rather than as well as promotion. So they're out of that relegation playoff spot now. So that's a great win because actually Cambridge City were in 3rd place in the league. So that's a big performance. Hopefully they can take confidence from that moving forwards. And also on the hockey, the West Herts ladies have opened up a 7-point lead at the top of the Eastern Premier League with a 3-0 win over second place Bromley and Beckenham. So they're looking good to go on and win the league, hopefully.
Okay, that's great. Now, water polo, we've touched on this in the past, and the Watford water polo team is putting out an appeal for supporters to come watch them and be loud and noisy and quite vociferous at the same time when watching. Yes,
so it's the final weekend of the water polo league. After a brilliant start to the season, they had a bit of dip of form, and at one stage they needed to win all 5 of their remaining matches to get promoted. We're down to the last 2 games. They've won the last 3, so it's quite exciting times. And Saturday's game is at home, and I can't remember, it's 3 o'clock. But they're appealing for people to come and watch water polo, and it'll be a great atmosphere because obviously it's an indoor pool, and if they get enough people there shouting and cheering, I'm sure it's going to carry them on to another victory.
Yeah, and you can
sorry,
just...
it's 1 o'clock. Sorry, I've got the time. It's 1 p.m. 1 p.m. and that's up at Woodside.
Okay, and they're playing on both Saturday and Sunday, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are. This, I can't find the details. I'm presuming the Sunday one is away.
I thought they were both at home, but I will go and double check.
Yes, you are correct. I've just found it. You are correct. Yes, again Sunday at 1 o'clock. So get along, experience a new sport if you've never been to see water polo, and help the Watford boys get promoted.
Okay, and their under-14 team won the league.
Yeah, so being a surprise that this season's been a surprise that Watford's got a good water polo team. It seems they've got some pedigree coming up through the ranks. So yeah, it looks like this is Watford's future is water polo.
Well, we can't have enough successful sporting teams in the area because I think it lifts the whole spirit of the town.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that, Neal. I'll try not to throw you as much research next week to do, but thank you once again. Hopefully your prediction is wrong this week about what.
Yeah. You never know with football. We may scrape a draw. Sorry, but I don't. Yeah, I think it's going to be 2-0 to Tottenham.
Right. Okay. And on that sad note, we'll say thank you very much, Neal, and have a good weekend. Link for Growth events that are coming up next week. There's a few of them coming up. Tomorrow, Chris is going to be in Barracuda, as usual, talking about the Community Kickstarter initiative and Link for Growth in general. And Chris will be there between 10 and 11:30 so if you want to meet anyone, that's fine. That's then. On Monday, we have Link for Coffee at Neal's Reason Coffee and Bookshop between 10 and 11:30. Again, another great opportunity to meet and catch up with everyone. Then the Fox and Hounds in Rickmansworth High Street, as usual, host the Rickmansworth Link for Drinks on Wednesday evening starting at 7 o'clock. And on Thursday, we have a coffee event at the Mercure Hotel on the A41 between 10 and 11:30. And that's it for the week. And I'd like to thank Tania and Catherine and Neal and Chris for this week's contributions. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.